Hey there, English learners. Welcome back to Listen and Learn English, the podcast where you improve your listening skills while I take you through the crazy, ridiculous, and sometimes painfully embarrassing moments of my life. Now, before we jump in, let me remind you the best way to learn English is through listening, repeating, and shadowing. So, when I say an important phrase, I want you to say it out loud. Don't just sit there quietly. Come on. You gotta repeat after me. Trust me, it'll stick in your brain way better. All right, let's talk about one of those days. You know the kind I mean, the days where everything that could possibly go wrong does. It all started when I overslept. And when I say overslept, I mean I was supposed to wake up at 7 and I woke up at 9:30. Now, that is not a good way to start the day. You wake up in a complete panic, your brain scrambling to catch up, and you just jump out of bed like your house is on fire. And guess what? The moment I jumped out of bed, I tripped over my own feet and crashed into my nightstand. Great start, right? I stumble into the bathroom, still half asleep, and splash water on my face. Trying to pull myself together. Say it with me. Pull myself together. Again, pull myself together. That means to calm down and get back in control after feeling stressed or overwhelmed. Now I finally get myself to the kitchen because, let's be real, the only thing that can save me at this point is coffee. But, of course, I managed to knock over the entire coffee mug before I even get a sip. And not just on the counter. Oh no, that would be too easy. It spills all over my white shirt. Perfect. Now I look like I just lost a fight with a coffee machine. So now I have 5 minutes to change, throw my stuff in my bag, and get out the door. I grab a new shirt, put it on inside out by accident, and don't even notice because I'm rushing like a maniac. At this point, I'm already running late, but I think, okay, I can still make it. I just need to grab my bag and my phone and my phone. Where's my phone? I tear apart my apartment looking for it, checking the couch, the kitchen, even the fridge, because honestly, my brain is not working. And then it hits me. I left it in the bathroom. I sprint to the bathroom, grab my phone, and race out the door. And the moment I step outside, it starts pouring rain. At this point, I just stand there for a second, looking up at the sky like, really? Really? And that's how my day started. And let me tell you, it only went downhill from there. So there I am, standing outside, already soaking wet from the rain, late as ever, and still trying to convince myself that maybe, just maybe, I can turn this day around. I bolt down the street, dodging puddles like it's an obstacle course, when suddenly, boom, my foot lands right in the biggest, muddiest puddle you have ever seen. Now, I don't mean just a little splash. Oh no, we're talking water up to my ankle, completely drenching my shoe, my sock, and my entire mood. And you know what's worse? I freeze for a second, just processing what happened. And that's when this car zooms past and absolutely drenches me with a tidal wave of street water. At this point, I just start laughing, because what else can I do? I am soaked, my shoe is squishing with every step, and I look like a mess. But fine, whatever. I power through. I make it to the bus stop, still hoping I can get to work without any more disasters. Now, let me tell you, when you're having one of these days, the universe does not give you a break. The bus pulls up, I go to step on, and my transportation card won't work. I tap it. Nothing. I tap it again. Still nothing. The bus driver is just staring at me like, "Are you getting on or what?" And I'm frantically checking my pockets, knowing full well that I swore I reloaded this card last week. People behind me are getting impatient. Someone clears their throat loudly, someone else sighs, And me, I am dying inside. Finally, I just dig into my bag, pull out some cash, and shove it at the driver. He nods. I stumble to a seat and I just try to pull myself together. The bus starts moving, and I think, okay, we're good. Nothing else can go wrong. Big mistake, because suddenly I feel something weird, like an odd sensation on my arm. I look down, and there it is, a giant coffee stain on my sleeve. Remember when I spilled coffee on myself earlier? Yeah. Turns out I never changed my shirt properly. I just threw another one on top. Inside out, by the way. And now the coffee stain has bled through onto my sleeve. At this point, I let out the longest sigh of my life. And to make things even better, I look up and make direct eye contact with my boss. Oh, yeah. He's sitting right there, just a few seats away, watching me have a personal crisis over my coffee-stained, inside-out shirt and soaking wet shoes. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. He gives me this little nod like, "Morning, Catherine," and I just nod back like, "Yep, nothing to see here, just a totally normal day." I bury my face in my bag, hoping maybe, just maybe, the universe will give me a break. But oh no, my friend, we are just getting started. So there I am, on the bus, soaked from head to toe, wearing an inside-out shirt, coffee stains on my sleeve, shoes squishing with every step, and, oh yeah, my boss sitting a few seats away, watching the whole thing unfold. At this point, I'm holding on to my last shred of dignity, just praying I make it to work without any more disasters. But, of course, the universe is like, "Oh, you thought it was over?" I reach into my bag, trying to grab my phone, and that's when I realize my bag is unzipped. And not just unzipped, wide open, like a gaping hole of regret. I look down and my wallet, my notebook, and a handful of random receipts are barely hanging on for dear life. One good bump and everything's gonna spill out. And guess what? Right on cue, the bus hits a pothole. And just like that, boom! Wallet on the floor, notebook flying under the seat, receipts floating in the air like confetti. At this point, I just put my head in my hands because how is this even happening? Now, let's pause for a second because I just said something really useful. Holding on to my last shred of dignity. Say it with me. Holding on to my last shred of dignity. Again, holding on to my last shred of dignity. This means I'm barely keeping my pride together. Like, when things are going horribly wrong and you're trying so hard not to completely embarrass yourself, you're holding on to your last shred of dignity. Let's hit some examples. Imagine you're walking through the mall, feeling great, and then you trip over nothing and faceplant in front of a crowd. You scramble up, pretend nothing happened, and walk away like you meant to do it. You are holding on to your last shred of dignity. Or picture this. Your friend bakes you a cake for your birthday, and it's so bad that you have to pretend it's delicious just to be polite. You take a bite, try not to gag, and force a smile. You are holding on to your last shred of dignity. One more. Imagine you're at a fancy restaurant, trying to look elegant, and then you accidentally knock over your glass of water all over yourself. You laugh it off like it's no big deal, but inside, you are barely holding on to your last shred of dignity. Come on, repeat it again. Holding on to my last shred of dignity. All right, back to the disaster. So my wallet is on the floor, my notebook is under the seat, and these random receipts are floating in the air like I just pulled a magic trick. And to make things so much worse, one of those receipts lands right in my boss's lap. I freeze. He picks it up, looks at it, and guess what it says? A $12 charge for triple chocolate fudge brownie explosion. Oh yeah, because apparently My biggest financial transaction of the week was ordering the most ridiculous sounding dessert on the menu. I just sit there wishing the ground would swallow me whole, while he raises an eyebrow, hands me the receipt, and smirks like he's about to bring this up in my next performance review. I grab my stuff, shove it back into my bag, and just stare out the window, hoping, praying that nothing else happens. But the moment I get off the bus, I realize something. I forgot my umbrella, and just like that, it starts pouring rain again. Now, let's pause, because I just said something else really useful. Wishing the ground would swallow me whole. Say it with me. Wishing the ground would swallow me whole. Again, wishing the ground would swallow me whole. This means you're so embarrassed that you want to disappear. Like when something humiliating happens and you just cannot deal with the shame, you are wishing the ground would swallow you whole. Let's hit some examples. Imagine you accidentally send a text talking trash about someone to that person, and they reply, "Wow, tell me how you really feel." You are wishing the ground would swallow you whole. Or picture this, you confidently answer a question in class, super sure of yourself, and the teacher just gives you the biggest look of disappointment and says, "That's completely wrong." You are wishing the ground would swallow you whole. One more, you're at a party, dancing, thinking you're killing it, and someone taps you on the shoulder and says, your fly is down." Yep. You are wishing the ground would swallow you whole. Come on, repeat it again. Wishing the ground would swallow me whole. All right, back to the nightmare. So I'm standing in the rain, soaked to the bone, running late, and beyond done with this day. But I think, you know what? Forget it. I'm just going to power through. The worst is over. And then, right in that moment, a bird flies by and poops on my shoulder. I freeze. I look down. I close my eyes. And I just burst out laughing because honestly, at this point, what else can I do? So there I am, soaked, coffee stained, bird poop covered, and officially out of hope. But you know what? At this point, I surrender. I don't even care anymore. I just drag myself to the office, step into the elevator, and hit the button for my floor. And as the doors close, I take a deep breath, trying to pull myself together. But then, just when I think I have a second to breathe, I hear a voice behind me. "Rough morning?" I turn around slowly, and guess who it is? The big boss. Not my manager. The manager's manager. You ever have a moment where your soul just leaves your body? Because that was me. I try to play it cool. I nod, give a weak little laugh, and say, "Yeah, you could say that." And that's when I see it, in the reflection of the elevator doors. My hair, it's a mess. Not just messy, completely out of control. And guess what? There's still a feather stuck in it. Yeah, a tiny little bird feather, just chilling in my hair like a final insult. At this point, I'm mentally clocking out. I don't even care anymore. The elevator doors open. I walk out like a zombie. And that's when I hear it, a voice from the side. "Hey, Catherine!" I turn my head, and it's my coworker, my work bestie. The one person who sees me, takes one look, and immediately starts dying laughing. Now, let's pause, because I just said something really useful. Mentally clocking out. Say it with me. Mentally clocking out. Again, mentally clocking out. This means you are so done with a situation that your brain just stops functioning. You're physically there, but mentally, you've checked out. Let's hit some examples. Imagine you're in a 3-hour meeting that should have been an email, and your boss is still talking. Your eyes are open, but your brain is mentally clocking out. Or picture this. You're at a family gathering, and your uncle starts his longest, most boring story about the good old days for the millionth time. Yeah, you are mentally clocking out. One more. You're in class, trying to focus, but the teacher has been reading straight from the textbook for 45 minutes. Your brain, gone. Mentally clocking out. Come on, repeat it. Mentally clocking out. All right, back to the disaster. So my work bestie is laughing so hard she's practically crying, and I just stand there waiting for her to get it all out. Finally, she catches her breath and says, "Okay, I know you're having a nightmare of a morning, but you might want to check a mirror." And that's when I do it. I step into the bathroom. I look in the mirror. And it's so much worse than I thought. Because not only is my hair a wild mess with a tiny feather sticking out, but oh yeah, I still have coffee stains on my sleeve, my shirt is still inside out, and my eyeliner? Smudged like I've been crying for hours. I just stare at my reflection, nod slowly, and whisper to myself, "All right, we fix this." And here's the thing. This is where the survival mode kicks in. I grab paper towels. I try to clean up the coffee stains. I flip my shirt the right way. I fix my eyeliner the best I can. I yank the tiny feather out of my hair and pretend it never happened. And then I walk out like nothing's wrong. And you know what? At this point, I'm just going through the motions. Now, let's pause again because I just said another really useful expression. Going through the motions. Say it with me. Going through the motions. Again, going through the motions. This means you're doing things automatically without really thinking about them. You're just getting through the day, doing what you have to do, but your heart's not in it. Let's hit some examples. Imagine you're exhausted, but you still have to wake up, shower, and go to work. You're going through the motions, just moving without really thinking. Or picture this. You're at the gym, but you're so tired that you're barely even trying. You're not really working out. You're just going through the motions. One more, you're at a social event you didn't even want to go to, pretending to listen to conversations, nodding, fake smiling, but really, you're just going through the motions. Come on, say it again. Going through the motions. All right, back to reality. I head to my desk, drop into my chair, and just let out the biggest sigh of my life. And right as I think, finally, peace, my boss walks by. He stops, looks at me, smirks, and says, "So how was that triple chocolate fudge brownie explosion?" And bro, I just give up. So there I am. Mentally exhausted, coffee-stained, bird poop traumatized, and just praying the universe gives me a break. But nope, because as soon as I sit down, I see it. My inbox. And it's horrifying. There are so many emails that I can't even see the bottom of the list. And the worst part? Half of them are marked urgent. At this point, I feel like my soul is leaving my body again. But whatever. I roll up my sleeves, take a deep breath, and start tackling the chaos. And the first email I open, it's from my boss. "Hey, Catherine, can you jump on a quick call in 5 minutes?" I just stare at the screen. A quick call, a quick call. We all know what that means. It's never quick. And 5 minutes? That's not a request, that's a demand. So now, instead of getting through my emails, I'm frantically trying to prepare for whatever disaster this call is about. And as soon as I click the meeting link, I hear his voice. "Catherine, glad you could join." Glad I could join. Bro, I had no choice. But I smile, nod, and say, "Of course! What's up?" And that's when he drops the bomb. "So, I need you to handle the client presentation tomorrow." Tomorrow. I freeze. My brain just short circuits. Because, first of all, I had zero warning. Second, this is not a small presentation. This is a big deal. And third, I am not ready. I feel my heart start racing. My mind is spinning. I'm scrambling to come up with a response. And before I can stop myself, I say, "Oh, absolutely. No problem at all." Brother, why? Why did I say that? I don't even know. I think I just panicked. But now? Now I'm stuck. Let's pause for a second because I just said something really useful. Short-circuiting. Say it with me. Short-circuiting. Again, short-circuiting. This means your brain just stops working for a second because you're overwhelmed, panicked, or completely caught off guard. Let's go through some examples. Imagine you're in class and the teacher calls on you to answer a question, but you weren't paying attention. Your brain? Short-circuiting. Or picture this. You're at a job interview and they ask you a question you weren't expecting. You sit there blinking because your brain is short-circuiting. One more, you accidentally send a text talking about someone to that exact person. Yeah, your brain? Short-circuiting. Come on, repeat it. Short-circuiting. All right, back to reality. So there I am, fully panicking on the inside, but smiling on the outside, nodding like I totally have everything under control. And my boss? He just keeps talking like nothing's wrong. Great. Just make sure you have the final slides ready by the end of the day. End of the day? End of the day? Bro, I haven't even started the slides. I didn't even know I was doing this until right now. At this point, I am drowning. But I have no choice. I have to make this work. So I hang up, crack my knuckles, and get to work. I am in the zone, typing, researching, editing, furiously trying to throw together a presentation that doesn't look like a disaster. And you know what? For a while, it's going okay. Until I hit a wall. Not a real wall, obviously, but a mental one. I'm staring at my screen, trying to think of the next slide, but my brain just shuts down. I have nothing left. I sit back, rub my face, and sigh. At this point, I'm just running on fumes. Let's pause again because I just said something useful. Running on fumes. Say it with me. Running on fumes. Again, running on fumes. This means you have almost no energy left, but you're still going because you have no choice. Let's hit some examples. Imagine you pulled an all-nighter, but you still have to go to work the next day. You're running on fumes. Or, picture this, you've been studying for exams for hours, and your brain is completely fried. You're just running on fumes. One more, you've had a crazy day, and you still have to cook dinner and do chores. You're running on fumes. Come on, repeat it. Running on fumes. All right, back to the madness. So there I am, barely functioning, fighting to stay awake, forcing my brain to keep going. And just when I think, maybe, just maybe, I can pull this off, I hear a noise, a notification. I glance at my screen. It's an email from my boss. And the subject line? Quick change of plans. I just close my eyes and pray. I click it. And the email says, "Hey, Catherine. Turns out we're moving the presentation to next week. No rush after all. Brother B-ro." I stare at the screen. I blink. I just spent hours stressing, panicking, and working like a machine for nothing. I lean back. I take a deep breath. And I just start laughing. Because of course this happens. And you know what? At this point, I just close my laptop, grab my bag, and head straight home. I am done. So after all the stress, the chaos, and the sheer exhaustion of the day, I finally leave work. I step outside, take a deep breath, and tell myself, that's it. No more surprises. Just a calm evening ahead, but of course life has other plans. As I start walking home, I feel my stomach growling loudly. At this point, I realize I haven't eaten properly all day. Just a sad cup of coffee and a granola bar. That is not enough to survive. So I decide I deserve a nice dinner, something comforting, something warm. And what do I crave? Pasta. A big, beautiful plate of pasta. I start picturing it in my mind, freshly cooked, perfectly seasoned, maybe with some garlic bread on the side. It's all I can think about, so I head straight to my favorite restaurant, the one that never disappoints, the one that always makes the perfect meal. I step inside already feeling better. The smell of fresh food, the soft music, it's exactly what I need. I walk up to the counter, smile, and say, "Hi, can I get the pasta special?" And then the waiter gives me a look that immediately tells me something is wrong. "Oh, I'm so sorry. We just ran out of pasta." I freeze. Out of pasta. Outside. Office pasta. I blink. This cannot be happening because I have been dreaming about this meal. I have mentally prepared for it. And now I have to rethink everything. I try to stay calm. Okay, no problem. There are other options. I just need a minute. I quickly scan the menu. My brain is scrambling. And in my desperation, I say, "All right, I'll just get a salad." A salad. A salad. After dreaming of pasta all day, I am now eating a bowl of leaves. It is not the same, not even close. But at this point, I am too tired to care. Let's pause for a second because I just used a great word. Scrambling. Say it with me. Scrambling. Again, scrambling. This means you're trying to do something quickly and without much control, usually because you're in a rush or panicked. Here are some examples. Imagine you wake up late for work and now you're scrambling to get dressed and out the door. Or picture this. You're in an exam and you realize you only have 5 minutes left. Now you're scrambling to finish before time's up. Or maybe you forgot your friend's birthday and you're scrambling to find a last-minute gift. Come on, say it again. Scrambling. All right, back to my very sad dinner. So I sit there, eating my salad, trying to make the best of the situation. It's not what I wanted, but it's fine. And then, just as I'm finishing, I get a text message. I pick up my phone, glance at the screen, and oh no, it's my friend. "Hey, I'm outside your place. Can't wait for our dinner plans." Dinner plans. Dinner plans. I stare at my phone, completely shocked, because I forgot. I completely forgot we made plans to have dinner together. And the worst part? I just ate. I have no choice. I quickly reply, "Yes, can't wait. See you soon." And now? Now I have to go home, act like I'm hungry, and eat a second dinner. Because what else can I do? So I rush home, open the door, and there she is, my friend, excited and ready to eat. "I've been craving pasta all day. Let's order something delicious." I force a smile. Because of course it had to be pasta. I sit down, look at the menu, and just accept my fate. So now, after everything, after all the stress, the exhaustion, and the struggle, I finally get my pasta. But am I even hungry anymore? But am I going to eat it anyway? Absolutely, because after the day I've had, I deserve it. And that, my friends, is how the universe played with me from start to finish. So what's the lesson here? Sometimes, no matter how much you plan, life will throw surprises your way. And when that happens, you just have to roll with it. And hey, at least I finally got my pasta. So that was my day. A roller coaster of surprises, forgotten plans, and a lot of unexpected twists. And honestly, that's just how life works. You plan for one thing and something completely different happens. But that's why we need to stay flexible, keep a sense of humor, and just go with the flow. And of course, keep learning English the same way. Listen, repeat, shadow, pause, rewind, do whatever helps you absorb the language naturally, because the more you do it, the easier it gets. Now, before we go, I want to hear from you. Has something like this ever happened to you? A day where everything just goes in a completely different direction? Tell me in the comments. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this episode, hit that subscribe button, give it a like, and share it with someone who's learning English too, because learning together is always better. All right, that's it for today. But I'll be back soon with another story, another experience, and more natural English for you to learn. Until then, keep listening, keep learning, and I'll see you next time.